Okay, guys, during the metabolism the body carries out, our body collects many substances that we don't need. For example, carbon dioxide, wastes, and some chemicals that we need to get rid of. The system in charge are excrete all those substances is the excretory system, which main organs are lungs, right, for excreting CO2, skin that excrete excessive water and some salts, right? And the most important one is the urinary system. You're right? Which main organ are the kidneys, right? This is perhaps the most important part of the excretory system. That's why these organs are so vital for us. Just imagine that you can go take out your garbage at home for a couple of months. Imagine the environment. So that happened in your body if your kidneys stop working. Furthermore, to excrete wastes, the excretory system and the most important part, the urinary system, help us to keep the homeostasis of the body. You know, or you remember what it means. That is the maintain the balance of the substances inside our body, precisely cells and blood. Okay, what are the main organs of the urinary system? Here is the picture that you have in your workshop. Here you have the kidneys, right? The kidneys are supposed to produce a substance with the wastes they get rid of. It's the urine. So here in the kidney, the urine is produced, both kidneys. After the urine is produced, it is led to these ducts that are called the ureters, right? The urine is collected here in the bladder, and then it goes out to this duct that is called the urethra, right? So bladder, urethra, ureters, right? And kidneys. Good. Here you can see a couple of blood vessels. When the heart that is located here more or less, right, pound the blood to the aorta, it goes directly, part of the blood, it goes directly to the renal artery. So this is the renal artery, this one, that I'm going to paint in red. Renal artery, right? Good. Renal artery, let me see, renal artery, right? And after the blood is clean, it returns to the heart through the renal vein, right? I'm going to paint it in blue. Oh, me equivoqué aquí. Okay. Good. Renal artery and renal vein. One of the questions was to draw an arrow indicating the direction of the bloodstream, so you can do it. These are some organs that are not part of the urinary system, but are close to it. I suppose that you remember what it is. This is a bone, the sternum, right? And these are bones that form the thorax. These are the ribs, right? This is the sternum and the ribs. Okay, this is one of your kidneys. As you can see in your book, and I ask you in the workshop, you are supposed to label this drawing. We can identify in this organ 3 sections. The external part here, right? This is the cortex, renal cortex, right? The middle section is the renal medulla in this one, the one that I paint in blue, right? This is the renal medulla, right? And the internal, this section here, this is the renal pelvis, right? This is the ureter that is supposed to be connected with the bladder, right? The other ureter and the urethra. Good. This is the basic structure of a kidney. As a trait of these organs, they are formed by more or less 1 or more than 1 million at the unit that are called the nephrons, right? So this is the structural and physiological section in a kidney, nephrons. Nephrons are located basically here between the renal cortex and renal medulla, located here in this section, and this is assumed from that section. This is how a nephron is organized or formed, right? This is a nephron. Okay, this is how a nephron is structured. Nephron. What are the parts of a nephron? Okay, here, coming from the renal artery that eventually divided into many small branches, right? These branches or capillaries get inside this nephron. This is coming from the renal artery, right? This is another branch coming from the renal artery. This entrance to the nephron is a net of many tiny capillaries that is called the glomerulus. You right? Good. This tiny ball of capillaries is covered by a structure that is called the Bowman's capsule. It's like a cap or structure that contains the glomerulus, right? When the blood gets here, right, many substances are filtered. So filtration happens in this section, filter. What does it mean? That some substance that the blood contains are retained in the blood and other ones are filtered through the Bowman capsule. And they continue along this tubule, right, that you can see that is more or less long and connect to a bigger one. So this first section at the tubule is called the convoluted tubule. Obviously, it's a tubule. What does convoluted means? That is not straight, that it has many curves, right? Good, this one. Then the duct take this form like a loop. This is called Henle's loop, right? Henle is the last name of a medical or scientific that discovered this structure many years ago. And you know that inside, the one who discovered names. So this is the Henle's loop, and then another section of the tubule that is convoluted too. Convoluted tubule, right? Good. This is called the proximal. Let me write down here. Proximal convoluted tubule, and this is the distal convoluted tubule. Proximal because it is close to the Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. Distal because it's not so close, it's far away from this. This is called the collecting tubule. Collecting tubule. And here is go to the ureter. You're right? To the ureter. That's right. Here another nephrons are connected. Right? What is the idea? That the blood gets here to the glomerulus, it is filtered. Some substances continue in the system because we cannot lose, for example, proteins, amino acids, and glucose. We don't get rid of all these substances. They remain in our body. But the chemical that we don't need, wastes, etc., continue along the tubule, right? Henle's loop, the other convoluted tubule, and goes out. During this duct, the urine is formed and is then expelled to the ureter, bladder, urethra, and bye-bye, right? So during all these duct, many substances are retained. For example, if we have excess of water, the water remains in the tubule and forms part of urine. But if we have drunk too much water, for example, right, we cannot lose the water that we haven't drunk. So in this case, the water, right, move from the tubule out. And if you see another picture, you can see that all this section is surrounded by many capillaries, right? So the substance that we don't need remains in the tubule and for the urine. The ones that we need, because we cannot lose, for example, water, if we don't have excess, they are supposed to move out from the body, from the tubule, and remains in all the capillaries that surround the nephrons. So those substances remain in our body. This is basically how our kidneys work, right? And the nephron is the most important unit in these organs. I hope that this has been more or less clear for you. Any question, through Phidias or to WhatsApp. Thank you. Bye.